It was a busy day for Albemarle County and Charlottesville City enforcement. We'll talk about some of the items today on the program. Take a look at the screen for some of the topics we're going to cover today. Like the show, share the show, retweet the show, spread the gospel. We work very hard on this product for you. Literally, the only thing we ask in return is sharing and liking the show, asking questions, and helping us spread the gospel that is the I Love CVille program. Twitter's looking good, J-Dubs. I like to spotlight one of our partners, maybe around the 15-minute marker, with some of those full-screen artworks that we talked about, full-screen call to actions that we discussed. You have those ready to go?
More or less.
Okay. We can always adjust on the fly. Which headline intrigues you the most of these, Judah? Or which, maybe intrigue's not the right word. Which one are you most interested in talking about? Or most compelled to talk about? How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, our top headline, I think, is
It's extremely unfortunate.
yeah. I mean, it's just it's a showcase in how people can be despicable.
I mean, on multiple sides. With the first headline, with the Planet Fitness story. This is a national story that's impacted Charlottesville.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to take content that is either local and discuss it, regional and discuss it, national and discuss it, and through every lens, whether national, hell, global. I mean, we talked about stuff in the Middle East with Hamas and Israel and how it's impacting Charlottesville, whether it's city council, whether it's the University of Virginia, whether it's the Board of Visitors. We take geopolitical, tumultuous turns of events and localize them to Charlottesville. Today, we're going to take a national story involving Planet Fitness and localize it to Charlottesville. We saw the impact of a national story as it pertained to a bomb threat in Fifth Street Station with Planet Fitness, a story that was associated with a locker room photo that was taken by a mother in the women's locker room outside of Charlottesville of in
Alaska,
of someone using the locker room who identified as a woman but was birthed as a man. The mom felt compelled to share this photo on social media as opposed to speaking to management.
Yeah.
And because of this story, a bomb threat was called in Charlottesville. A story from Alaska impacted Albemarle County taxpayers yesterday.
Yeah.
Think about that. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about it on today's program. We're going to talk about how the hot CPI number that was just released is going to impact Charlottesville. We'll talk Jim Ryan running the Boston Marathon. One of the things Jim Ryan does well is localize, humanize, and personalize himself. We'll talk about that on today's show. The first murder in 2024 just happened yesterday, sadly, right next to the police chief's neighborhood.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on today's program. We have more data, as we spent this morning with Keith Smith of Real Talk with Keith Smith, on the median income, and we're going to compare and contrast it to other jurisdictions in 2020, other jurisdictions in the Commonwealth. Charlottesville makes another national list, the #1 place to live in America. We'll talk about that today. J-Dubs, I am close to ready to rock and roll when you are. The talk show is called the I Love CVille Show, and we encourage you, the viewer and listener, to help shape the discussion. Look at the screen for topics that we will cover today. Please like and share the show. How you feeling over there, J-Dubs?
Not too bad. I'm almost done.
Vetting?
Yeah.
Bill McChesney, hello. Rob Neal, hello. Jesse Rutherford, hello. Counselor Snook, hello. Olivia Branch, hello. Heather Walker, hello. Katie Pearl, Kevin Yancey, hello. Kyle Irvin, hello. Woody Fincham, welcome to the broadcast. A lot we're going to cover on today's program. Ray Cadell, Dean Russell, Betsy Nugent. Thank you kindly for watching the show. We can rock and roll when you're ready there, J-Dubs. I'm seeing AOK on Twitter, AOK on LinkedIn.
So am I. All right. Quiet on the set.
Good to be with you guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love Seville show. We appreciate your viewership and your listenership on the flagship program on the I Love Seville network. A lot we're going to cover on today's program. What we try to do with this network, this show in particular, is take topics and localize them. Some of these topics may originate from a global perspective, like what we've covered over the last couple weeks with this Middle East hellscape? Is that a fair description of what's going on between Israel and Hamas and Gaza and Palestinians? I mean, warfare, torture. We localize it by asking, how is Charlottesville responding to this? Should Charlottesville respond to this? What's the University of Virginia doing? How do we protect free speech? How do we protect students that are Jewish at the University of Virginia? Should council be doing anything about it? I thought we've covered this topic inside and out. Here's another topic, maybe not Middle Eastern, but a topic that's national in scale from Alaska, Planet Fitness. There was a Planet Fitness member in Alaska that identified as a woman, was birthed as a man, walked into the locker room in Alaska, the women's locker room at Planet Fitness. A mom was in there with her daughter. The mom felt insecure, felt unsafe. Her mama bear instincts came out. In this particular circumstance, her instincts suggested that she should take a photo of the...
Do you really think it was mama bird instincts?
How else would you characterize them? That's the voice of Judah Wickower. She took the photo of the person who identified as male, went into the locker room, identified as woman, birthed as male, went into the woman's locker room. Her teenage daughter was in there. She took a photo and circulated on social media. It went viral.
I would...
And as a result of this virality on social media, bomb threats are being called in all over America at Planet Fitness locations, including in Charlottesville, Virginia, at 5th Street Station, technically Albemarle County.
I think 2 days ago it was 17 bomb threats. 1 day ago it was up to 24 bomb threats. It's disgusting behavior. I would call her...
Disgusting behavior, I want to clarify here.
Disgusting behavior, calling in bomb threats.
Agreed.
Because you don't like a business's actions. I would call her behavior...
You're talking the mom who took the photo.
The mom who took the photo, I would call that Karen behavior.
Karen behavior.
She could have pulled her daughter out and had a talk with management. Instead, she pulled her phone out and started taking pictures and then posted it on social media.
It went viral.
I don't care what the situation was. Her reaction was despicable.
Stacey Baker Patty, welcome to the broadcast. I want to unpack this today. This is something that happened in Alaska that has affected Albemarle County and Charlottesville. We'll talk about it on today's program. Also on today's program, we will chitter-chatter the median income numbers that were released by HUD this week. We talked about it yesterday. I thought Deep Throat offered compelling analysis on this. Keith Smith of Real Talk with Keith Smith also offered compelling analysis. We can get this slide on screen that Keith Smith created that aired on this morning's talk show, the metropolitan statistical areas for 2024, the top 12 in Virginia from a cost of living standpoint. Arlington, a clear-cut number one. HUD, median income, and as Deep Throat highlighted yesterday, this is family households. Not individual households, not student households. These are family households. Is that slide on screen?
Yeah.
Viewers and listeners, take a look at the screen. Look at the screen now. Arlington, $154,000, $700,000 per household. Charlottesville, number two in the Commonwealth, most expensive MSA at $124,200. The previous year was $123,300. Then you got Virginia Beach at $110,700, Culpeper at $110,400, Richmond at $110,300, Blacksburg, 106,700. Louisa, 99,000. Then Augusta, Harrisonburg, Roanoke, Buckingham, and Lynchburg. Buckingham. We're going to pick this apart like Thanksgiving turkey today. I thought Carly Wagner, if Carly Wagner is watching today's program, I'm going to give her some props. I thought she offered compelling analysis on this on the morning's talk show that I want to relay to the viewers and listeners, including this: the jumbo loan threshold in Arlington is about $154,000. In fact, let me call them up right now. This is according to Bankrate, 2024 thresholds. Arlington has got the number one median income per household at $154,700. The jumbo loan threshold in Arlington is $1,149,825. Charlottesville City is significantly less at $766,550.
You might want to explain to the audience what jumbo loans are, because I know some of them definitely know what they are, and if I was listening, I would be one of the people that absolutely does not.
Okay, I will. Jumbo loan is a mortgage used to finance properties that are too expensive for a conventional conforming loan. We'll talk about this. She asked this question: why is the number for Charlottesville and Albemarle County not higher and synonymous with what Arlington's levels are, considering how expensive it is for Charlottesville? It's a fantastic question. She also said this: the Charlottesville MSA is being impacted because the Charlottesville MSA, the MSA includes Albemarle County, Fluvanna, Greene, Nelson, and Charlottesville City. She says the MSA, the metro area, this number is being impacted by Fluvanna, Greene, and Nelson. That if Albemarle County and the city of Charlottesville were their own separate MSAs, that this number, 124,200, would be way higher. I want to unpack that on today's program. Also on the talk show. Go ahead.
No, I think that's a good assessment.
Great assessment. Great assessment, something that needs to be highlighted, just like Deep Throat's points yesterday. Also on today's talk show, we had a murder yesterday. Charlottesville City, the first one of 2024. Sadly. Was it 12th and Page?
Yeah, I believe so.
Police all over the scene yesterday. Mm-hmm. Sadly, nothing but thoughts to the family, empathy, sympathy, prayers, if you're God-fearing people, to the family. The police investigating the murder. First one of the year.
Yeah.
We'll unpack that on today's program. I want to talk Jim Ryan. He's running in the Boston Marathon again, this time for the UVA Children's Hospital. One of the things that Jim Ryan, the president of the University of Virginia, has done really, really well is he's created a proverbial bank of goodwill and equity. And what I mean by that is President Ryan does a great job of interacting with the community. One of the ways he does that is through athletics, specifically his running. He has runs with students, runs with locals. He's running in the Boston Marathon for the Children's Hospital. What that is called in the advertising and branding world is localize, humanize, and personalize. President Ryan understands the concept of localize, humanize, and personalize. Terry Sullivan, the previous president of UVA, did not understand that to the tune that Jim Ryan does. President Ryan, whether we want to admit this or not, is a politician.
Yeah.
He's a politician. And to have a bank of goodwill equity that you can tap on during tough times helps make you more bulletproof when you are facing headwinds. And he's faced significant headwinds this year, in particular free speech headwinds, in particular student safety headwinds, in particular headwinds associated with Israel, Hamas, Gaza, and the protection of Jewish students. He was under the crossfire at a recent Board of Visitors meeting. Collateral damage, box truck driving around grounds, demanding Rector Robert Hardy's removal from the Board of Visitors. Whether the Jefferson Council's behind that, we don't know, although they have said on the record they are not a part of funding that box truck. Mm-hmm. Do we take them at face value? Do we believe them? I'll leave that to you. I'll leave that to the viewer and listener to make their respective decision. Here's a national topic, maybe a global topic for you, a macroeconomics topic for you. CPI just came in hot. I mean, this number is so persistently hot.
Yeah.
Find the stat of the number coming in above 3 for how long that's been. The Consumer Price Index, a key inflation gauge, rose 3.5% in March, higher than expectations, marking an acceleration for inflation. These are key data points.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about rate cuts at the beginning of the year that many thought would be in the 5 to 6 neighborhood. Now folks are saying it's not going to happen until the back end of the year, and we'll be lucky to see 1, 2, or 3, if any at all.
If at all.
How the hell is that going to impact Charlottesville, Virginia, and Central Virginia? We'll talk about that on today's show. You, the viewer and listener, will be celebrated by offering thoughts, perspective, questions through the I Love CVille show viewer and listener power poll. You can find that online at ilovecville.com/viewer rankings. This talk show airs Monday through Friday at 12:30. We are in the shadows of Thomas Jefferson's University, less than 2 miles from the Rotunda, John Paul Jones Arena, and Scott Stadium. 40 yards away, 50 yards away from the Charlottesville Police Department that is doing its best to solve a murder on 12th and Page yesterday, a block away from the courthouses of Albemarle in the city of Charlottesville, and right off the downtown mall, smack dab in the middle of a market we call Central Virginia that is 300,000 people strong. Judah Wickower, 2-shot. Bomb threat, Planet Fitness, set the table, set the stage. The show is yours with the nitty-gritty.
I mean, I think you did a pretty good job, but yeah, it was a woman in Alaska who at a Planet Fitness saw someone that she thought to be a man in the woman's locker room, and apparently tossing common sense out the window, took out her phone and decided to take pictures and post them on social media. And you know, I can't fault Planet Fitness for kicking the woman out, which is what they did. And there is a far right wing, what would you call it, media outlet?
A social media platform.
It's called Libs. I think it's called Libs of TikTok. Strangely, nothing liberal about it, and they have been, I guess, harping on this and apparently getting their message out, because now people are sending bomb threats to, or a person or persons are sending bomb threats to Planet Fitnesses across the United States, including Charlottesville, Virginia. Or is that in Albemarle?
Albemarle County, still, yeah. We'll call it Charlottesville.
Yeah. The woman was barred from the gym in Alaska. The gym refused to reverse its decision, and apparently in the 5 days after the incident took place, which I believe was in earlier in, I think it was mid-March, and their valuation has gone down $400 million.
Planet Fitness is in. We'll talk numbers, dollars and cents first. Its stock is in the pooper. What's the drop?
Well, it was $400 million in 5 days after the incident, so that would have been 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I mean, folks are saying now that this gym chain will not potentially survive this.
It's possible. I mean, dropping that much. I don't know what their valuation was before this happened. Do you have the current valuation there?
It's not in front of me. And frankly, I don't think it's specific to what we want to cover on today's show.
That's fair.
Good recap there from J-Dubs. So here's what we know. and I'll put it in a nutshell. Alaska. About as far from Virginia as you can get. Any state in the free union, which is further from Virginia? What, maybe Hawaii?
Yeah, I don't think you can get much farther than Hawaii.
Hawaii, Alaska, right? You got a brouhaha that happened in Alaska, where a mom thought the best move to protect her daughter in the women's locker room.
Are you sure about the daughter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
To protect her daughter was a photo, snapping a pic. Posted it on social. Hindsight's 20/20. But with the benefit of hindsight, I echo what Judah said. Taking a camera out in a locker room and snapping a picture of somebody in a locker room, posting it all over social media, and then offering your 2 cents, probably not the best judgment decision.
Definitely not.
Hugely erroneous by this mom. I'm not going to make this about locker room rights. I'm not going to make this about accessibility to said locker rooms. I'm not going to make this about politics. I'm going to make this specifically about when you sign up to join a gym or a club, in the language of the documents that you're signing as members,